Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Cat Quest 2. Cat Quest 2 takes place a couple generations after the events of Cat Quest 1. The hero of Cat Quest 1 is occasionally brought up, but is never like a direct impact in the story. In this one, they introduce dogs, and you get to play as a cat and dog that are of royalty. They're like the king cat and the king dog, and you're aided by a ghost named Kiri. Now, in this world, cats and dogs have a long feud. There are basically two different continents, one populated entirely by cats, one at dogs, and the threat of war is looming over everyone. So it's kind of like up to both the cat and the dog to find this ultimate weapon in order to bring together the two nations, or maybe you're trying to avoid finding the ultimate weapon because it could be used as a weapon of mass destruction. And so it's kind of like we're trying to find the weapon to decide what we do with this awesome weapon. Gameplay is very similar to Cat Quest 1. It is an action RPG, but it is incredibly bite-sized, to the point where you feel like you're making constant progress no matter how much time you have to devote to the game. Like, there are a ton of side quests that you can do, and a side quest takes about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the side quest and depending if you're reading the dialogue or not. I actually recommend that you do read all the text because it usually is fairly funny, and of course, as you can expect, tons of cat and dog puns. It is a very punny game. You're constantly getting awarded experience and gold, and you're leveling up, and I really enjoy even just these quick little 10 to 20 minute bite-sized play sessions whenever I did play this game, because it did feel like I made meaningful progress compared to something like a huge RPG where it's like, okay, I did one quest within that time. And so it does really give you a sense of making like constant progress. If you're playing single player, you can choose to play between either the cat or the dog, both of that which you can equip with different gear. I kind of equipped my cat to be more of like the spellcaster and my dog to be the up-close melee type character. I like this system a lot because unlike the first game, you kind of had to like choose how you wanted to build your cat as a mage or a warrior. In this game, you get to build both, and then you can kind of like toggle between them depending on like what kind of gameplay you're feeling. And it's not like the equipment itself is too complex either, to the point where like you feel like overwhelmed having to equip both. There's also like magic, like I mentioned, and unlike purchasing new spells in the spell tower, instead you have to uncover these new spells by exploring dungeons. And so I like that aspect where they kind of they don't hand the spells to you. You kind of have to go exploring in order to uncover them. And at least for the spells that I uncovered, there was a nice variety between like all the different spells, and it seemed like they really upped their magic game from the first game. Even like the attack animations for your melee weapons were different. So like a broadsword obviously is going to swing different than like a quick little rapier or something like that. And then of course you do have the mage towers where you can upgrade the spells. You have blacksmiths, both a cat blacksmith and a dog blacksmith, where you can like upgrade your gear if you want. I usually didn't spend money upgrading my gear because I just kind of assumed that I would find better gear as I played along and explored more dungeons, but it's not like you can upgrade your magic that way. And so that's usually where I allocated most of my currency, is upgrading my spells. But there are also spells unique to like a melee type character, not so much like magic stat, but like attack stat oriented. So my dog had this really cool spell where like it did a constant AoE damage around him, but it scaled off his attack stat. So it doesn't just give your mage something to build towards. And of course, this game does offer a local co-op mode, which I could see this being an awesome game to play with for a less experienced gamer, just because of how approachable it is and how simplified this RPG system is. And so I could see playing 2-player with like a younger person or somebody who doesn't play a lot of games. I could see both of you guys having a lot of fun with this because it has the depth there for a veteran gamer. It's not like so brain dead that a veteran gamer would get bored, but it is digestible, so a novice could enjoy this game as well. As far as like the combat goes, it is like a step above above how the Cat Quest 1 worked. Basically, like, if an enemy intends to attack, you'll see a circle radius around them, and you basically have to leave that radius before it becomes complete, because that's when they will do their attack animation. But there are other different attacks as well, and there's like one where if the character jumps up in the air and lands, then they will fire off a projectile, and so you have to be wary of that. And then obviously they can cast spells too that have different various like areas that you have to avoid, but it's all so easy to understand. Like, stay out of the red areas, because that means that the enemy is going to attack in that area. And so you're trying to get like your damage, and you're trying to attack them as much as possible, but you also want to avoid these red areas. And so it is easy to understand, but it's not completely brain dead either. As far as like how spells work, how mana works, you have to do basic attacks in order to build up your mana meter, and then you can use spells. You do also unlock like new passive abilities, like one makes it so your dodge roll damages enemies as you like dodge through them, and then various equipment also has different passive effects, like one increases your like mana regen, so you don't have to rely solely on basic attacks. I do wish that you unlocked the same traversal abilities that you had in the first game. You unlock water walking, but I believe in the first one, it's been a while since I played that one, but you can like, you eventually unlock a way to like travel across like the thorns, and then obviously near the end game in the first one, you can unlock the ability to fly, and I didn't see that in the second one. Maybe that is like post-game like things that you do eventually unlock the ability to fly, but I didn't see that here after I rolled the credits, which is unfortunate, because seeing a cat fly around this area was like probably one of the most enjoyable things about the first Cat Quest. Dungeons are fairly similar to the first one as well. They're bite-sized, you go in there, there's some enemies, sometimes there's like traps, and once you clear the dungeon, then a unique chest will unlock, and that usually has some gear in it that you can unlock. Also, how gear works is if you claim multiple of the same gear, then it upgrades said gear. And so it's not like a total waste of time if you unlock the same sword that you already had, because it just means that that sword is upgraded now. There is like a fast travel system here. Basically, you like unlock these towers, and it allows you to fast travel between these towers. I wish it was a little more clear when you're inside the tower which exit takes you where, or better yet, just do like it's not as immersive, but I wouldn't have complained if you just like were able to select the town that you wanted to fast travel to instead of having to navigate to one of these towers. Still, I mean, it is better than nothing. I do like how when you are in the map, it tells you how many dungeons are in the area, how many quests are in the area, and like how many of these have you done. It's nice having that information, not that I'm a completionist, but if you were a completionist, it's nice to know like how far along you've made your progress in the area. I did notice these like gold chests that were scattered around the game, and it said that I needed a key to unlock these gold chests. I never found one of these keys. I didn't do all the side quests, but I'm still not entirely sure how you unlock these golden chests. I assume there's really good gear in there or something. It took me maybe a little less than 10 hours, maybe like 8 or 9 hours to beat it, which is totally fine with me. I think this is like the perfect type of game that doesn't overstay its welcome. You get in, you make progress, and you hop out. If you wanted to play it all the way through in a couple sessions, you can, or you can just chunk it out into tiny little 20-minute play sessions. The third Cat Quest came out not too long ago, and I actually am pretty tempted just to go ahead and buy that one the next time I see it on a sale, because I really do like these Cat Quest games more than I thought I would. However, I do kind of wish that I waited to play this one with a niece or nephew, because I just feel like it's like the perfect game to play with a more novice gamer, and I think they'd have a lot of fun reading all the puns, and they'd be able to feel like they're really contributing to the game without feeling overwhelmed. Overall, I think I will give this game a 4 out of 5. I can't remember if that's the score I gave to the first one or not, but yeah, I think they're great games. They're fun little games, and they're not like too expensive, so you're not investing like a ton of time or money, but it does have like all the side content if you wanted to invest like upwards of 15, 20 hours if you wanted to 100% complete this. Like, you totally could. And I definitely think this game does a really good job of having that growth set mentality where you can like really feel yourself getting stronger, where an enemy in the overworld who used to take you a long time to beat, you can now like go up and whack it and you kill it with one hit. And so you can really see that growth in a short amount of time, and you just get that sense of progression, unlike most like huge long 50-hour RPGs. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Cat Quest 2, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!